Hello candle lovers, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Greg and this is All Aboot Candles. Hope everyone's been having a fantastic weekend. Every Sunday I bring you guys the WWW, the weekly wax wrap up. This is a really quick breakdown of all of the candles that I finished burning this week, how they smelled, how they performed, etc. Also have a couple random things to talk about at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Let's get right into the candles though. It is like full-blown winter here in Calgary right now, guys. Full-blown winter here in Calgary. We got well over a foot of snow the other day. And so the good news about that for me is that it's fully time for me to start burning all of my pine tree candles and some of the bakery fragrances that I like. So I've got a couple fall things left in this week's wrap up, but I've pretty much fully moved on to winter and Christmas over here. I've put up my Christmas tree, all my decorations. I'm like holly jolly and good to go. I finished up Christmas Cabin from Bath and Body Works. I really like the packaging on this. It's sort of like a flannel gift wrap. They look a lot better in person than they do in videos or online in photos. There was a cute lid on this one as well. And the scent notes are spiced clove, crackling fireplace, and cozy cabin. I really like this one, but it wasn't like groundbreaking and earth-shattering for me. I think this really sort of fits in the vein of a lot of the candles that we get from Bath and Body Works this time of year. 'Tis the season, holiday, under the Christmas tree, the perfect Christmas. The difference with this one is that there is a little bit more of a smokiness to it, and definitely like a clove, like a bit of a spicy clove and a bit of a smokiness to it. But what isn't listed on the scent notes is the cinnamon. And I'd say that cinnamon is probably the top most prominent note in this candle. It's nicely balanced though. It's cinnamon on top, sort of like a rich clove in the midsection. And then the base of this candle is like a nice sort of smokiness, not full blown like smoke, but just like a nice sort of like crackling wood fireplace maybe type of smoke. And yeah, I liked it, and it performed pretty well. We did get a little bit of like discoloration and stuff at the end there, but I think that's kind of just because I let it go off a little bit too long, you know what I mean? But it performed nicely. I would say that the strength and the throw on this was probably a solid like 6.5 or a 7. Definitely had a presence to it. I wasn't disappointed with the strength and throw at all. It was really nice. It was really lovely. Maybe not a repurchase for me, but if you like the way that this smells in store, if you like cinnamon fragrances, I could recommend this to you. Yeah, overall, not bad, but not fantastic. I also finished up Peppermint Bark from Bath and Body Works. This kind of packaging isn't really my style, but it looked nice when it was burning. I think it's good enough. I always like the touch of like a white lid on packaging like this. And the scent notes for Peppermint Bark are rich dark chocolate, melted white chocolate, and crushed candy cane. There was a lot of talk about, is this a repackage of peppermint hot chocolate and something else? I don't think it was a repackage at all. I think it was definitely its own thing. I don't really pick up on the dark chocolate note. For me, this is more like peppermint, milk chocolate, and white chocolate. It reminds me a lot of the white chocolate candy cane Lindor truffles, which I love. I always buy so many of those truffles around Christmas time to like keep around my place for company. Yeah, for company to eat. On top, you get the peppermint, and then there is a really nice sort of creamy, chocolatey note in there as well. And overall, it performed quite nicely. Really clean burn for the most part. Tiny bit of discoloration right at the end. Burned it all the way to the bottom until I could see those wick nickels. And strength and throw was pretty good. I'd say it was a solid 7. And it didn't take a while to get up to that 7 either. Like, as soon as it started pooling out nicely, it definitely had a presence to it. I might actually repurchase this one. And I could definitely recommend it if these types of fragrances are up your alley, because performance-wise, I was pretty impressed with it. yeah, it was nice. I also finished up a Lavender and Pine from Bath & Body Works. Honestly, I think my favorite thing about this candle is the jar. It just looked so beautiful when it was burning, and we had a cute snowflake lid on there. Actually, I shouldn't say my favorite thing about it was just the jar. It was a really nice fragrance. It just didn't deliver on the lavender note for me, like at all. I think I picked up on a little bit of lavender when I was smelling it on cold, but that did not translate into burning the fragrance. It really smelled kind of just a lot like tree farm to me. Yeah, it's basically like a pine, like a piney forest candle. And instead of there being lavender, there is a little bit of something slightly perfumey and astringent. When I'm burning this candle, I would never have been able to pick out the lavender, I don't think, but there is something in the higher range of this that is a little bit perfumey, maybe almost like slightly citrusy floral, but I mean, I was really hoping for a fair bit of lavender, nicely balanced with some pine, and that just isn't what this was. It performed pretty nicely though. Right at the end there's a fair bit of discoloration, and that's because I think I let the last burn go for a little bit too long. I burned it all the way down until I could see the wick nickels. However, I never let it go off for longer than 3 hours. I should have blown it out. I did catch it sooting a little bit right at the very end there, and that's when I called it a day. Not a repurchase for me, and I wouldn't really recommend it either. I would probably recommend something like that Frosted Forest candle over this, or even Tree Farm. I like Tree Farm a lot, and I'm burning a Tree Farm right now from this year's collection, and it's doing quite nicely, so I would probably just opt for that one instead. But I mean, the scent notes that we got were freshly picked lavender, cedarwood bark, and frosted pine. And there's cedar and pine and a slightly vague, perfumey, citrusy floral. Yeah, not just based on my expectations because of what the candle is called, kind of a disappointment. Not a repurchase for me or a recommendation. However, that collection had some other really great candles in it. I'm really enjoying Falling Flurries and Snowflakes and Cashmere right now. Those were both really good. I finally finished off this Stranger Things candle. This one was the Upside Down. When I was first smelling this candle on cold, I renamed it the Upside Down Christmas Tree. After burning it, I think we could just call it the Upside Down Forest. The scent notes on here are mossy stone, smoky birch tree, and eerie fog. And I actually do really like this fragrance. When Sarita from Coffee and Candles was talking about this one, she compared it to a candle that came out last year called Fall Forest, and I really loved that candle, and this reminds me quite a bit of that. I did do a side-by-side sniff when I first hauled this, and I don't think they were exact repackages, but they were really close. It's just a really nice outdoorsy winter piney candle, and yeah, I liked it for the most part. Birch, I don't think I'd specifically pick out. To me, it's a bit more cedar woody, a little bit piney. And then we also had like mossy stone, eerie fog. I'm not sure. I don't think that this is a very successful candle in terms of like, I don't know, representing the brand of Stranger Things and the Upside Down. This is just a pretty generic like outdoor forest winter candle, but it was nice. I really enjoyed burning it. Not going to be a repurchase for me. Not a recommendation. You can't even get it anymore. The burn on it was really nice though. It never dudded out, never had any issues with, you know, performance. And I'd say that the strength and throw was probably about a 6.5. I would have liked it to get up to that 7 point, but a 6.5, it definitely had a presence. I could smell it. It was nice. It was lovely. It was nothing to do with Stranger Things in my opinion, but hey. You know, not a bad candle, and I really did enjoy like the gunmetal lid. I have to say overall, I really think that the Stranger Things collaboration candles were pretty much a fail. The only one I really enjoyed and would probably repurchase if I could was Eddie's leather jacket. And I've got a review of that out too if you want to check it out. I also finished up a sugared Snickerdoodle from Bath & Body Works. This version came out either last year or the year before. I do like some gourmands. I do like some bakery fragrances at Christmas time, and every now and then this one just really hits the spot for me. It is quite sweet, but it's not so sweet that it gets kind of like cloying for me. The scent notes are warm spice, creamy vanilla, and sugared musk. And yeah, I mean, it just smells like some really fabulous fresh baked cookies. I'm sure a lot of you know what this candle smells like. It is out right now in this packaging, and I've noticed that this packaging has like the same color of wax. It looks like a very similar format, so I'm guessing this new version is gonna perform very similar to how this one did, which was okay. Strength and throw was all right. Like, it definitely got up to a 7 when some of its burns were going really well. However, at the halfway point, there was a lot of dudding out. I think that at one point I had to let it burn for like 4 or 5 hours to get it past that sort of dudding out period. And then it did kind of correct itself, and I burnt it all the way down until I could see the wick nickels. It was a pretty clean burn, just partly because it just never really like picked up a ton of steam and became a flamethrower. However, on average, the strength was around a 6.5 or a 7, which is not bad at all. Really lovely, like sugar cookie bakery scent. I also finished up a sunflower maze from Goose Creek. This candle was not terrible, but not my favorite. The scent notes are sweet persimmon, soft apple, and blooming sunflowers. Oh, and mixed woods. So this definitely gets into a little bit of like a urine territory for me. I absolutely do pick up on the sunflower note, but it's not like a fresh, bright, like field of sunflowers. It smells kind of more like a dank, slightly dark, sunflowers are like drowning in mud type situation to me. There was, I don't know, it was a little confusing. There were some burns on it that I enjoyed, and I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. And then I'd come back to it and kind of change my mind and be like, oh, this smells like a little bit of a urine-y turnoff. I just wish it had been a little bit fresher and brighter and not quite as like dark. It was a strange one. The performance was pretty good. I'd say that the strength and throw was a pretty solid 6.5 with every burn. I burned it all the way down until the whole thing had liquefied and I could see the wick nickels, and it didn't take long to pull out. It didn't take long to start projecting that 6.5. Definitely had a presence to it, just not necessarily a presence that I was very obsessed with. This candle really never dudded out or had any sooting issues at all. It was a pretty clean burn as far as Goose Creek candles are concerned. However, I usually keep my burns on Goose Creek 3-wick candles to like a 2.5 hour maximum. You really have to keep your eye on them. I also finished up this Blackberry Absinthe candle from Illume. I really like Illume candles. My favorite candle from this company is probably Coconut Milk Mango. And right now I'm burning their, I believe it's called Winter Woods or White Winter, and I really like that one as well. These candles have sort of a cute like peekaboo design. They're tin candles. What I don't like about tin as a candle vessel is that the light doesn't shine through it very nicely. And I was hoping that this fragrance would get a little bit darker and richer when I was burning it, but it didn't. The scent notes on this, it says, grounded in sultry liquid amber with a heart of petal soft jasmine kissed with vapor of berries. So amber, jasmine, vapor of berries. I do get where they're coming from with the vapor of berries. It's kind of a little bit too high pitched and effervescent for me. You know, like if this was a Bath & Body Works candle, it would probably be called like a blackberry cocktail and have like a bubbly note to it. Wasn't obsessed with the fragrance, and also performance was not fabulous. This candle, the first 2 burns, it took forever. forever to pool out. And I always burned it in like a hurricane in a smaller space. I think that the first burn, it took about 5 hours to pool out. Second burn took at least 4 hours to pool out. The subsequent burns were a little bit better, and then I started picking up some strength and throw, but it's still probably maxed out at about a 6, and that is in a smaller space in a hurricane. I'd say that a lot of the time you were getting like a 5 from this candle, maybe a 5.5. It was kind of a frustrating burn, to be honest with you. By the time it did fully pool out and kind of get going, it would start sooting and the wick needed to be trimmed, and so you kind of just blow it out and start all over again. As you can see, there is a fair bit of soot marks on there, and when I cleaned out the hurricane that this was in, the paper towel got pretty dark. You can also see there's quite a bit of like residue, since this is a plant-based soy wax candle. It was 11 ounces, single wick, not a repurchase from me, but I do buy from Illume fairly regularly now, so not a write-off for the brand. I've had candles that are a lot more successful than this. I also finished up a pumpkin vanilla latte. This candle is from Michaels. When Michaels has like their crazy candle sales, I go kind of wild. I also finished up this Ashland pumpkin vanilla candle from Michaels. Their candle brand is like Ashland, and these are usually $9.99. These are usually $19.99, but when these go on sale, they go on sale at really good deep discounts. In fact, right now at Michaels, you can get their candles that are formatted like this for $3.33, and their candles that are formatted like this for $9.99. I call candles like this cheap and cheerful. I'm not super invested on getting a great fragrance experience out of them because I know that I won't, but I do burn a lot of candles just for like the ambience of it, especially in the winter time when it's darker outside. It gets darker earlier. I like having lots of candles going that aren't necessarily going to interfere with the fragrances of other candles that I'm burning more earnestly. However, pumpkin vanilla latte actually had some get up and go to it. It was always in a hurricane in my bedroom, and I'd say that maybe it got up to like a 4 for strength and throw, so I had to be like pretty close to the hurricane to be able to smell it, and eventually I just kind of started burning it with other fragrances that were similar to this. It takes a really long time for candles like this from Michaels to pool out, and you have to let them pool out or else you're gonna end up with tunneling issues. I'd say that it takes like 2 or 3 hours for it to pool out. One thing I do like about these candles though is that you can let them go for a really long time, like 4, 5, 6 hours without any problems. So they're great candles for like setting a mood, you know what I mean? The fragrance is, it smells like a pumpkin vanilla latte, maybe kind of a cheap one, probably not one from a nice place like Starbucks. It is a little bit synthetic, but like I said, I wasn't really here for the fragrance. I was just here to have like a nice looking 3-wick candle, you know, to set the mood for some ambience. And the vanilla pumpkin candle, this was like a 1 for strength and throw. I was always burning it in a hurricane. I didn't even worry about burning it with fragrances that matched it, to be honest with you. If I'm hovering above the hurricane and breathing in, I got a little bit of the fragrance, but basically it's unscented. And the true mark of a cheap and cheerful candle is when you can see that there is like, it's made by like putting a candle inside of it. And so when it burns, you can see that there's almost like a separate pillar candle inside of it that actually contains the wick. And then it's like the colored scented wax is kind of poured around that. I mean, I don't recommend these candles for quality or fragrance. I just like some cheap and cheerful candles that I can burn for a really long time around the house to sort of give a nice ambience. I also finished up Patchouli and Rose Wood. This is a single wick from Bath & Body Works. These ones are 8 ounces. This candle is out right now is in a 3-wick as the Happy Diwali candle. And I really like this fragrance. The scent notes are patchouli flowers, pink pepper, and exotic rosewood. And it's a really nice kind of sandy, musky, woodsy scent. Oh, I really actually like this one a lot. I might pick up the Happy Diwali candle next time I go into BBW and get the 3 wick for a little bit more strength and throw. However, this actually performed pretty well. I use single wicks mostly in the small bathroom in a hurricane when I have company over. And in that situation, I'd say that this got up to about a 6 for strength and throw, which I think is great for like a bathroom candle. You don't necessarily want your company walking in there and being like, whoo, gosh, eyes start watering. Like, I don't burn 3 wick candles in bathrooms. And so yeah, this was really good for what it was worth, you know what I mean? And then I finished up Cypress from Bath and Body Works. You all know I was obsessed with these like black and gray candles that they did. My favorite one was the amber candle, and the vanilla one was really nice too. This is a fairly sharp and slightly astringent Cypress, but I really liked it. The scent notes that we get are bergamot, grove, fir needles, and green moss. I really think fir needles is kind of like the key there. This is very, very fir tree for sure. A little bit sappy, a touch astringent. It's quite sharp. It's quite a highly pitched candle. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. And in a small space, in a hurricane, I'd say that this got up to a 7. Very small space, guest bathroom, hurricane, but a 7 for sure. Like, it definitely filled that space really nicely, and I enjoyed having it in there for a couple of weeks. So yeah, Cypress from Bath and Body Works. Can't get that anymore. I really hope that they release, I don't think it's gonna happen, but I wish that these like black and gray single wicks they had done had come out in like 3 wicks. I think it would have been a beautiful collection, and it was a really nice set of like simple, well-balanced fragrances. The orange blossom was really nice too. When semi-annual sale happened, I stocked up on so many of these. So many of these, you guys. Okay, what else is going on? That's all I've got candle-wise. I wanted to fill you guys in on the channel schedule. I've been getting asked about it a little bit more again. So every Tuesday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday is a candle review. Every Wednesday is something a little bit different. Maybe not Aboot candles. This Wednesday is actually going to be a candle shenanigans. I've got a really fun one for you. Every Saturday is a candle haul, and every Sunday we're here with the weekly wax wrap up. I also wanted to quickly address the fact that I'm about to hit 1,000 followers and just say thank you to everybody who's been subscribing to my channel and who's been watching and leaving comments and interacting with me. I really appreciate it. This has been so much fun. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm not exactly the type that's getting super hung up on like how many followers that I have. The most important thing to me is that I'm having fun doing this channel and people are having fun watching it. I know that like apparently once you get to that 1,000 subscribers mark, I know that then you could potentially like monetize the channel and start making a little bit of money off of it. I have no intentions of doing that, you guys. Looks like a lot of paperwork just to be making like 25 cents a month or something. I have no plans of making money off of this channel, you guys. I just do it for the love of it. I do it to create and connect. You know, I have a full-time job, which keeps me plenty busy and stressed. If I were to ever start worrying about like how many subscribers I have and how much money I'm gonna make off this channel, it's gonna start feeling like a job. It's just not what the goal is, but I am really excited to get to 1,000 subscribers. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a live celebration once I do get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna go live and just talk to everybody, answer some questions, have a kiki, have a party. I'm gonna do a poll pretty soon about what time you think I should schedule this live for so that as many people as possible can join us. And yes, during that live, I am gonna do a little bit of a giveaway. So stay tuned for some details on that. Thank you so much for joining me today. That's really all I've got for you folks. Today I am going to be just spending the rest of the day at home with the boyfriend, cooking some dinner. I need to watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Oh my God, I saw a preview for the first episode of the new season and Dorit is like giving me the energy that I need to see. She's like not having any of it. She's forcing PK and calling him an alcoholic and like smoking cigarettes in her car. I'm really excited that Beverly Hills is back. That's my favorite Real Housewives franchise. Yeah, so just chilling out. I'm gonna read my book a little bit and probably go to bed pretty early tonight because I have another fairly grueling week ahead of me, and there's so much snow out there. I just really am fine with having not left my place all day. Anyways, that's all I have for you folks. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Hit me up with a like, comment, or subscription. That would mean the world to me. And until next time, my dear, gorgeous, and beautiful candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, you guys. Bye now.